The wait is over. You were waiting, right?
Oh, God. No. Please, no.
The end is nigh. Darwin and Cat are back.
For some of us when we were kids, one of the best things about being in school, it wasn't homework and it wasn't tests, and honestly not even lunch, was the school assembly. Picture it. Assembly day. You walk leisurely into the auditorium. No rush. No real expectations. And for like an hour or so, you get to just completely check out and sit with your friends, right? And sometimes you do something interesting and maybe educational. And sometimes you'd see or hear something that was borderline traumatic or just plain weird. All in the name of education, of course. On this episode, Kat and I are going to take a look at the rise of the school assembly, which sometimes took the form of educational films, more so in my life, and the ones that tried to shape our behavior, maybe scare us straight, or just completely confuse us. Welcome aboard. This is Pop Culture Garbage Barge.
Get on the boat, weirdos.
Darwin, I actually can't wait to tell you about the weirdest high school assembly ever. It involves a bionic lady, world hunger, and blue-green algae. But first, I think we need some actual history.
My homie Darwin, he's got a master's degree in history. So here's his lesson. Yo mama, word.
School assemblies weren't random. They've been around since the early 1900s. They didn't just fall out of the sky in the mid-century. But public schools tried to shift away from teaching subjects to also shaping behavior. Schools should create good citizens, and concept is simple. Get everybody in a room and deliver the same message at the same time to everybody. Citizenship, safety, moral behavior, basically how to act like a human being in society. By the 1940s, educators basically called assemblies essential because high school got divided into departments and classes, and education kept evolving. It was the only way to really reach everybody at once. So topics were, especially in the 40s, really on brand for that era. Patriotism, holidays, and once in a while, just someone talking at you for an hour. That was pretty unforgettable. 1923, when Eastman Kodak invented the 16 millimeter safety film, this changed everything. You know, the equipment became a little lighter, that you didn't have to have a fireproof booth because old film was very, very volatile and flammable and dangerous. And you needed a licensed projectionist and all this stuff. So suddenly any classroom, because of the fire safety element, now could show any message over and over and over to thousands. It becomes a whole industry. And the films aren't academic. They were often about behavior, hygiene, dating, driving, drugs, basically how not to ruin your life. And after World War II, that's when this industry really popped up and really sprung and emerged around these social guidance films, which was basically trying to teach teenagers how to be human beings, how to be people, exist in polite society, don't smell bad. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them. If you go on the Internet Archive, there's a golden trove of hilarious, not meant to be funny, telling you what to do. So assemblies and educational films are all doing the same thing, trying to shape young people's minds and behavior at scale, nationwide, we prepare them for a version of the world that maybe didn't quite exist. And just to bring it to the modern era, I just got to add, the students now, at least where I work, never are excited to go to an assembly. They would rather be in class. How times have changed.
Wow. Wait, what? You're giving me a look.
Well, after I get through all that, this is the part of the show where you act coy, and then you drop something cuckoo-cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson, McLooney, crazy-ass foul up to your tease. But in fact, I know you got something deeper to share up your sleeve. This is what we do. And you always get me, because we don't always see where you're going to give me that breadcrumb, and you drop it on me, and you're like, tell me the history.
It's a little different this week. I'm just genuinely excited that we're talking about this because I actually loved school assemblies for so many of the reasons that you listed. Just hanging out with friends, hearing weird stuff. And Darwin, I have possibly the most weird assembly story ever.
Yeah, you mentioned a bionic lady, world hunger, and algae?
Exactly. Okay. 10th grade. This assembly was so hyped. There were announcements all week.
Big assembly coming.
And the reason it was a big deal was because it was a talk by a celebrity. Now, one thing about growing up in the Los Angeles area, we had better access to celebrities than, say, a high school in Topeka, Kansas.
Hoosick Falls.
Exactly. Do you remember the Bionic Woman?
The Bionic Woman brings you all the action and excitement you expect from the most amazing woman in the world.
So I always confuse this with Gumby, but I think you mean like the show, right? It was like a TV show. Lindsay
Wagner. It was a spinoff of the $6 Million Man, and we need a bionic lady too. So if you're listening, you're not familiar, she was a full-on 1970s TV icon. So she starred as Jamie Summers, and Jamie was a tennis pro who was injured in a skydiving accident. And the government gave her bionic implants, and those included like really fast legs and a bionic ear. So she could cure shit like from miles away.
Which is basically what they did to the Bionic Man, right?
He had other bionic things. Like I think he could jump really far too. And he could throw stuff. And I don't know if you remember that bionic sound.
I saw this sound. It wasn't on Nick at Night. It was on like TBS or something. But yes, I remember.
It lived on in reruns forever. So Lindsay Wagner was at our high school, as I said, to talk about world hunger. But that's not all. She said there's a superfood on the way that will eliminate food insecurity as we know it forever. And that's spirulina.
Wait, spirulina? Mm-hmm. That's algae. Like I got food poisoning from that once.
Oh no! Like how bad?
Like all my skin went numb, like on my whole body.
Well, okay.
And it was bad. It was in like that green goddess drink.
Oh, well, Lindsay, she didn't talk about any of that, but she did say that spirulina is the future as we know it because it's cheap to grow, it's nutrient dense, and it's abundant in nature.
So this is like the blue-green algae. She just basically wanted to go down to like your nearest pond and just be like, and take a bite of it. So you got a celebrity assembly living in Los Angeles, and her whole takeaway was telling a bunch of teenagers, hey, go try some pond scum.
Yes, a bionic lady was telling us to do that. She didn't have any samples, so she just wrapped up. And oh my God, I just remember her saying very earnestly, until spirulina gains widespread acceptance and distribution, world hunger will continue to dominate the planet. And then she looked at us with her big bionic eyes, and she said, I have a favor to ask of all of you. I'm asking all you students today to skip lunch so you can truly feel like what it's like to go hungry.
Did you?
Well, see, I looked over at my friend Nina and I said, should we skip lunch? And she said, fuck no, it's pizza boat day.
You know, I wish I had that experience because I have one specifically traumatic realization that occurred to me while planning this episode and one specifically traumatic educational video. And I'm going to start with the latter. Yeah, this is you ready? Darwin story time here.
Sitting down.
So I start though by saying it was an important topic, very important topic, men's health. Testicular cancer is one of the most common cancer. It is the most common actually in men 15 to 40, age 15 to 40. It's also one of the most curable if it's caught early. So it totally makes sense to start teaching boys that as, we approach this high risk age, what to look for. But it's also a delicate subject, right? How do you approach something like this in a way that isn't creepy, but also effective to get the message through? My school failed at both. Picture it.
Okay.
Sometime in the late 1990s, classrooms didn't have a TV and VCR. They were on the cart. The teacher had to sign it out and roll it in, which when I became a teacher, I learned that if it was unplanned, the teacher had a hangover. So one day, we all arrived for gym class. It's true. And the coach says, don't change today. And the bleachers were pulled out. And there was the AV cart with the TV and the VCR set up. And he's like lame. We got a video day instead of basketball or volleyball. Come on. So before the video starts, the coach says, I need you to be mature. I need you to pay attention to this because it could save your lives. Okay. And he hits play. And the first few minutes are a doctor, right? He's in his white coat and he's explaining what testicular cancer is and then saying we can do something about it. And it's a self-exam. And then he says the coach is going to hand out these like hanging things to put in your shower. They're instructions on, for your shower at home and how to do. Okay, so far, right? Not so bad, right, Cap?
Yeah.
Okay. So then suddenly the video cuts from the doctor to a steamed up shower door.
Uh-oh.
And then somehow The door starts to swing open as the camera starts zooming in, and oh my God, jump scare! There it was. And I want to be as PG-13 as I can here. There was a guy in the shower, and they were zooming in on the bits. And let's just say there was a wild, unkept situation happening here.
Okay, God. Oh my God. I got to ask. Full on cock and balls or just the man jungle?
Well, again, trying to keep it, for me, PG-13 here. The American Cancer Society had no modesty here whatsoever. Nothing.
Boom. I think I got my answer.
Okay. Yeah, nothing was excluded from that zoom in. It was, and we all screamed and covered our eyes. And even me, little, not quite out of the closet, sure me, I wasn't one of the ones covering my eyes like this, like peeking. Like I was like, no!
Make it stop!
I had no interest in this at all. And that says a lot, I think, right? So Coach gets mad and he goes over and he hits pause on the video.
Damn it, kids, I want you to look at this cock and balls right now.
Basically, so there it is on this big TV behind him. Just on pause. On the
Jumbotron?
That's right there. And we're like, make it go away. And he lectures us about being mature. And he's like, I warned you this and blah, 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 blah. So then he goes, I'm going to replay it and you're going to watch it like men. And we're like, no. So he rewinds it. And he's like, I don't want screaming this time.
That's a tall order. That's a big ask, Coach. Big ask.
He's like, don't cover your eyes. You need to be mature. And we're all like, you could have warned us, okay? So, and here's the problem besides everything. None of us were watching the demonstration. And we were obviously too immature for this, okay? I think I want to say this was 9th grade. So we were probably right at, 14, 15, right? We were right at that age. And I don't think this was the best way to introduce this topic to us. But it gets worse, okay?
Oh, no.
Like,
how?
Somehow, yes, it gets worse. So when the video ends, the coach says, okay, now it's your turn.
What?
What does that mean? What do you mean? So he has this box.
Oh.
And he starts handing out what looks like little bean bags, but inside it's replicas of, the boys. And he said, practice checking on these and see which one of you can find the cancerous ones.
I feel so left out because us lady folk did not get to fondle any beanbags. Can you imagine casting that educational video? What the casting call, what type of actor they were looking for who had the right bits?
So again, Pete, I'll try to keep it as PG as I can here. Despite this is traumatized. It's there. It's in my mind. It's, I think they looked for somebody they were just trying to find an average male.
Okay.
But they found with, I don't even know how to phrase this, like partially average, but partially not.
So shower
for
or
the
grower?
Demonstration. No, it's like in between that. There's not even that part. That's the average. Okay. That's the average.
Okay.
But something else was because they had zoomed in and they wanted to make it really clear how to do this self-exam. So they had to look for somebody that was, yeah.
From your hand gesture, it looks like he had giant balls.
So they needed somebody who was an average male in one way, but had something that they could demonstrate on television. There we go. And you used yes, you got it.
Okay, can you just imagine like the actors in the waiting room sitting for their audition, and they're all shifting uncomfortably because they all have such giant balls they can barely even sit down. Are you familiar with Mr. Smith's friendly tap of the horn?
Does this have to do with my video?
No, there is no friendly tap in your video.
No, I'm sorry. I'm like,
that's okay. No, that's hard to recover from. But this was a.
So wait, this sounds like sort of a driving thing.
This was a driving video. It was absolutely bizarre. It was originally released in 1968, but they showed it in high schools well into the 90s.
According to leading safety authorities, improper driving is a contributing factor in about 80% of traffic accidents. To help remedy this situation, many efforts have been made, including school-age training, to improve techniques.
And it teaches the Smith system of defensive driving, which is absolutely insane by today's standards.
For example, what makes it insane, I guess, yeah.
Picture this monster, Mr. Smith. He recommends a friendly tap of the horn at pedestrians and other drivers to communicate, "Hi there, don't mind me, I'm just over here driving." Mr. Smith's friendly tap of the horn.
The horn. Lights, even in daylight, and eye contact are your communication tools on the road.
Never once in the history of the world has there been the meaning of the horn when someone's in front of your car as a friendly tap. Like, really?
I gave this lad a friendly tap of the horn. He looked up and smiled.
Right.
Let's get the hell out of my way.
I saw this masterpiece in school, and I'd never been behind the wheel of a car yet. I didn't drive, but I was pretty sure you're not supposed to honk at other cars to say hi, especially in certain parts of LA or any big city, which brings me to the big daddy of driving films, Darwin.
There was a big daddy.
Oh, there was. Bigger than your film.
Oh.
Are you familiar? See, I'm still not mature enough to watch that beanbag video. Are you familiar with Red Asphalt?
Is this the name of the film?
That's
or is
the
this
name
like
of the film.
blood all over the highway from the pedestrian you creamed after you honked your horn to get out of the way?
Yep. This wasn't some friendly tap of the horn situation. It was produced by the California Highway Patrol, and it featured actual crash footage, and it didn't have actors or reenactments. It had, they made us watch this for driver's ed. It had twisted metal, bodies on the road, people covered in sheets, and the message was, hey kids, this will basically be you. But there was no warning. There wasn't a warm up. There was no context. There wasn't any therapy afterwards. Just roll a film and try not to pass out before third period.
Maybe the people who made the video that traumatized me consulted on this ahead of time. Like, what?
Yeah. And in fact, the girl in back of me, Priya Patel, she fell over and puked during Red Asphalt. And that was pretty legendary.
I almost flunked my driver's ed final exam because I couldn't stop laughing on the multiple choice questions. And the question was, what should you do if you're about to be in a head-on collision? And option C said, cover your eyes and scream. But I had some real morons in my driver's ed class. And when I realized that many of them actually were probably going to choose that answer, I couldn't stop laughing at how stupid of an answer it was perfect for them.
But the correct answer is cover your eyes and let out a really girly scream. Did you guys have Dare?
Oh, I hated it.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Biggest waste of resources ever. Like, cheesy as hell. Even as a kid, I thought that. And I don't think it kept a single kid off drugs. I really don't. Actually, I think I might have done the opposite at my school. Just saying.
Okay, so my school, tell me if you had this experience too. We had this officer come into our middle school with, I swear to God, a glass case full of drugs.
My mom and dad helped get this DARE anti-drug program in our school.
It's run by specially trained police.
And he brought it out like it was this museum exhibit, like King Tut or something. And he's holding things up and he's using all these outdated terms like, here's some grass. This will help you get loaded, man. And then he said, oh my God, I'll never forget this. He looked right at us, 7th graders, and he goes, this powder is pure horse. You'll get a real kick from this one on the street. And I'm sitting there thinking, are we learning or are we shopping? And then the stoner kids in the class who were finally paying attention in class for the first time were staring at it like it was a Wendy's menu with pictures. Yeah, I'll take number 3. Piggy size like a side of horse. Yeah. And this was the time in life when we were supposed to take advice from a dog in a trench coat. And I think Dare led right into that. So Dare and McGruff the crime dog kind of went hand in hand for me.
McGruff the crime dog here. Tony thinks he's going to walk home alone. Tony is wrong.
We passed around a big, it was a brick of marijuana, weed, pot, whatever, term, right, that they didn't use. We had a big brick of it that was like saran wrap. But
some grass, man. That must have been a real kick.
Yeah, man. So, and everyone's like, yeah, my mom's got that. And there's a kid who like gave up his mom. I was like, yeah.
That's what dared turn us into a bunch of little snitches.
Now, I wasn't exposed to McGruff much, just kind of there in the background. But when I was super little, I thought him and Smokey the Bear were like BFFs hanging out doing whatever government created icons do.
I wonder. Okay. Well, I'm just thinking about McGruff, and I still wonder, like, was he ever busted for tax fraud or murder one? Like, look at his little crime fighting face. And I think it's like a firefighter who's a secret pyromaniac. I think he's up to something.
I think you're onto something here.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to get a little serious here. And I mentioned there was a second traumatic incident to share. And just a heads up, there's like nothing funny here. So this is kind of a rare, serious moment for the show.
Okay, let's do it.
As everyone's hitting skip on the... No, this one is one I think a lot of people relate to. It's 50% school related. And when preparing for this episode, I remembered I was among the millions of children watching on January 28th, 1986, when the Challenger shuttle exploded. And I'm sure you probably did too, right?
I was in class, and the AV kid wheeled in the TV.
Yeah, and schools made a big deal of it because there was a teacher on board, and it was a Tuesday morning. I just remember this. It was a Tuesday morning. I was in kindergarten, which was a half-day thing back then, and I remember it because they kept us late, and we never saw the afternoon group, so they were the mysterious others, and we were there watching it, and it happens, and the teacher just kind of turns off the TV. And now, mind you, the teacher in kindergarten, she's probably screaming up at us now. She was the meanest, most rotten human being to ever teach kindergarten. Nasty person. She didn't cry. She didn't react. And it wasn't because she was trying to hold it together for us. It's just because she was horrible, miserable monster. That's a whole other episode. And it was years later when I realized what I'd watched. And then I figured it out. That's the traumatizing part, right? After seeing I saw a bunch of people die and I didn't even know it, right? But then fast forward to my senior year at NAU. And so February 1st, 2003. It was my last semester, Saturday. A few friends had come over to my apartment to work on a project. We happened to have CNN on at the time. And they used to show shuttle launches and landings often. Remember they would carry them live?
Yeah, those were big news stories.
Yeah. So we had it on, and it happened again. Columbia Space Shuttle. And this time I fully knew what was going on. And it weirdly messed up my head for a few weeks because I had this overwhelming sadness for those who had lost their lives and their grieving families. And this was, remember, timeline here, this is barely a year and a half after 9/11.
Oh, right.
And it was a month and a half before we invaded Iraq. So I had this moment of thinking, is my life just going to be a series of national tragedies? Like, it's the sort of coming of age story nobody tells, right? Discovering the world isn't perfect and bad things happen no matter what timeline you're in, right? But I'm going to make this all about me now. So I know that's the little funny part. I thought of this the other day when we were going through episode prep, and I realized in some bizarre twist of history that my educational journey was bookended by shuttle disasters, kindergarten, and the last year of my undergrad, last semester of it. And for the second time in my life, I legitimately felt old. Like, I've been around for both shuttle disasters, and I saw them both happen live, and neither one in close proximity to each other. They were 17 years apart. It's been 22 years since Columbia, like as of this recording in 2026. So, I'm just like, oh man, I'm old. But then I said, no, you're not. Don't tell yourself that.
No.
So you're welcome for bringing down the room. I think I need you to come up with some closing, putting you on the spot. I'm sorry, Kat, to bring this back to funny.
No pressure. Well, first, Darwin, I just want to acknowledge your stories because those events are just indelibly etched in my mind, and I would never make light of those events. So jumping right back into my crazy shit seems a little, I don't know, wrong, maybe?
Okay. I mean, but I'm trying to get us back onto that. Yeah,
okay,
I get that.
But
okay.
I do have a question for you. Okay. Have you ever had a teacher close the blinds, crouch on a desk, and warn you about an impending alien contact?
No, that's insane.
Okay, let me take you there.
Okay,
history class, sophomore year, fall of the Roman Empire. And I love that topic. It's just absolutely one of my favorites. I love this class. Great teacher, got an A, everything. But as you know, the pressures of teaching high school can be enormous. And one day my teacher, Mr. B, cracked.
Not his real name, right?
No, it's not his real name.
Okay,
I'm totally protecting this guy. So just as we were learning about breads and circuses, Mr. B looks up toward the window and he squints as if honing in on something and receiving a faraway message. And just then, he jumped on top of his desk and he crouched like a primate and he said, "Alien contact is real. They're here."
What? Your teacher really said this?
Yeah. He did. And then the bell rings. That was a well-timed bell. And we all get up to leave. And, I'm hoping some student council do-gooder stayed behind to check on the poor man. But I left with my friends. I was like, bye.
But wait.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you left because I know something about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Was it pizza boat day?
So, actually, it was probably pizza boat day. So fast forward to today, and I know what you're referring to. I love what we call the lore. Bob Lazar, Roswell, disclosure. I'm all about it, and I can do an entire other multi-series podcast about it.
Mm-hmm. You're on your own for that one.
Darwin. Deep breath.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, for sharing your funny and your serious stories today. And I think, just go with me here, think about it. I think it's becoming clear. This show hasn't even scratched the surface of weird yet.
That's the beauty of the Pop Culture Garbage Barge.
Hey, thanks for finding Darwin and Cat Pop Culture Garbage Barge. If you like what you hear, please follow, like, tell a friend, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps keep this barge afloat. And just a few things to announce. We have brand new reels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you want to see our short little bursts of funny, some behind the scenes stuff, and maybe what Darwin and I look like, I promise it's not too scary. Find us on those platforms. Again, thanks so much. And here's the part I say every week, and I can't say it enough. We really, truly appreciate you.
Get on the boat and relive the pain. Helmet hair is rising like a hurricane. My cat's my best friend, and so is my bike. I'm chasing radio signals for any signs of life. Pop culture garbage barge, growing up weird made us who we are. Pop culture garbage barge, get on the boat, dork, and bring your emotional scars. Darwin and Cat on a garbage barge.